Hey, my name is Jared Moon, and I'm part of a group of underground athletes you've probably never even heard of before. We don't rely on fancy equipment for training, and most of us don't even have gym memberships. In fact, our motivation comes from within. You see, we have jobs, families, and responsibilities, but we still have big goals, and they aren't getting achieved at a global gym. For that reason, we have to do things differently. Our training has to be smarter. We don't have every piece of equipment known to man or a ton of time to train, and we don't need it, because we are achieving amazing things without it. So how do we do it? If you ask your average personal trainer or gym goer, they'd call us crazy. Yet we're seeing results better than most every single day. And it's happening by blending mental training with physical training and becoming an athlete. What we call, and welcome to, Garage Gym Athlete.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. I'm Jared. Here with me is Joe and Reto. How's it going?
Hi.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, I changed the intro up just like a little bit there. And
It's not a question anymore.
No, sometimes it's a question. Well, this is season 3, man. I'm glad to have you on. So let's just get started right off the bat here with an introduction. Who you are, what you do for a living, and how you train.
All right, so name's Reto. I'm Swiss, living and working in Poland right now for work. I work for a large tech company. I'm 34, married, 3 kids. The youngest is just 4 months old, so he's keeping us on our toes.
Oh, yeah.
I train in my garage about 4 mornings a week, and I'm doing great right now.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. And how do you like training in your garage?
It's the best training I've ever had, honestly. It's I can't imagine ever going back to a commercial gym or anything like that.
Right? I talk about that all the time with my wife. I'm like going back to having like a commute, and like I couldn't do it. Like I don't think.
No.
I feel for all the people who have to do fitness the normal way, because I see why it doesn't get done, because I don't know if I'd get it done if it wasn't in my garage.
Yeah, you can't really pull your barbell and your rack right over to where the rowers are, or vice versa.
Right.
I don't think they'd like that very much.
I
mean, what's the weather like, Poland?
Gray, like
Gray?
the houses. No, it's been a tough winter.
Ooh.
So how cold are we talking?
Well, we had a bit of a cold spell for the last 2-3 weeks where it's been in the like single digits or low teens. So not
For
much fun.
Celsius or Fahrenheit?
The Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's cold. All right,
I'll
man.
have to rethink going there in the winter.
So why a garage gym, man? Why did you decide to go that route?
I would say out of necessity. So I got sucked into, let's say, this style of training by CrossFit, as many have. And we lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin prior to this assignment here. So I was in a really awesome gym at Brew City CrossFit. And I really loved, the weightlifting and just the community and everything. So naturally, when I knew where I was going, I was looking for a CrossFit gym, and it's a bit of a desert here. So it's like I'm smack dab in the middle of Poland, and there's really not much. And so I started doing some research, and what I found was one man, one barbell. And I knew that Rogue Europe delivers to Poland, so that was my solution. And then, once I started doing one man, one barbell, I kind of got into End of 3 Fitness, and I've been on the daily programming for a while. And so is my wife, actually. She enjoys it very much too.
Awesome, man. Yeah, that's. I know you've been around for a long time. Which track is she on with us?
She's doing shred. She's trying to lose the baby weight.
Okay, got it, man. That's really cool. Not the first. We have a couple couple couples doing garage gym athlete programming. I think that's really awesome because do you guys train together?
Sometimes it's difficult.
Probably hard with the
Usually
kids,
one
right?
is on kid duty, yeah.
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 Awesome. And what kind of equipment are we talking about in your garage gym?
I have a squat rack with the bench, pull-up bar, rings, barbell with plates, of course, and the Concept 2 rower, which is really awesome for when it's just cold and icy outside. Some kettlebells, 2 configurable dumbbells, pretty much. Yeah, that's it.
How do you like those dumbbells?
Actually, I was skeptical at first, but they've really been a great addition. And they're the kind where you have to screw the like those nuts on at the end.
Okay.
So they're pretty sturdy. Like you can even drop them. And yeah, they've been a great addition. And also for the CrossFit Open workouts, that was actually the reason I bought them last year when they introduced the dumbbells.
I guess those make a lot of sense. It's almost like the barbell version of a dumbbell. I don't know if I would trust the ones that just kind of click into place because I feel like that would fall apart a lot easier.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I've been curious because I'd like to have plenty of barbells, plenty of kettlebells, but no dumbbells. And I'd like to get a few dumbbells, and I'm wondering if I should just buy some dumbbells, at the appropriate weights or some good weights, or if I should get some sort of adjustable or like, those, or there's the block ones like you're talking about, Joe, where like it clicks into place, but then you probably do have to be a little bit more careful with them. So yeah, I'm in the market, if you will. So any info I can get off you would be awesome.
Well, I needed configurable because I shared them with my wife, and I would have had to buy a pretty wide set of weights otherwise.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Same seeds.
All right, man. What's your main goal in being a garage gym athlete?
I think also something you've heard before here, but I don't have any particular goals in that sense. I just want to be strong and fit and healthy, in the long run in a sustainable way, so that I can care for my kids and grandkids. I just it's more of a long-term goal of never having my fitness never being in the way of anything I want to do.
Yeah, and I think that's a solid goal. It's really just wanting to be well-rounded and healthy, and the ability to use your body, or like if it needs to be called upon, you can do things without having to worry about it. And it's really being able to depend on your body as opposed to wondering if you're ready for something. And you mentioned CrossFit.
Exactly.
What were you doing before you were a pure garage gym athlete?
In high school I played basketball. Even though I'm 5'11", so I'm not exactly basketball player height, but it was a good time. Worked out in a commercial gym sporadically and not really in a structured way. Then during studies, I got into running, so I lost a lot of weight. I got down to about 165 pounds. And then really after, I served a brief stint in the Air Force, Swiss Air Force, for about a year combined, where I got into, using barbells and other weights. And when I moved to the US after that, I got introduced into CrossFit. It was funny, like this guy from work, he's like this wiry, strong guy, super fit, runs marathons, and he convinced me to join for a class. And I was pretty anxious, like if I were, would be able to keep pace. But I was just welcomed, by the community, and I stuck with it.
That's awesome. And how do you like training in your garage?
I love it. It's I'm the fittest I've ever been, the most consistent for sure, by far. There's no excuses not to do it. It's right there, It's And I'm just amazed what you can do with minimal equipment.
Yeah.
So the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, we always call it a world-class training facility. If you just have, the basics and the right programming, you can really turn it into a world-class training facility and get a lot of stuff done. Now, what's the biggest struggle for you? Because you got the weather thing going on. A lot of people talk about mindset, but what would you say your biggest struggle is as a garage gym athlete?
Right now, it's making time. I'm constantly tired, and I usually work out in the morning. So it's definitely, a bit of a mental game when the alarm goes off at 5 a.m. and you're tired, and it's a struggle right now. So I would say to be consistent right now is hard.
Consistency in those early morning workouts. Yeah, that could, so I know that the cold garage gym probably doesn't help.
It's actually heated, so it's not
okay.
too bad.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Do you have like proper insulation? Is it like an actual garage, or how's that?
It's an actual garage. It's actually just adjacent to the house, or let's say integrated into the house, and it's a little cooler usually than in the house, but it's still, I would say, 50, 60 degrees around there.
Okay.
I don't think I've really talked about this before, but it came up recently in a conversation I was having with one of our athletes. Because you're married with 3 kids. When you introduced the idea of a garage gym to your wife, was there any pushback or, I don't know, anything at all coming from your family on maybe this isn't a good idea or anything like that?
Not at all, actually. She was all game. She, from the start, she was like, "Oh, can I work in it? Can I work out in it too?" I'm like, "Of course, it's an investment. Of course, there's the upfront cost, but if you go to the gym, if you have a gym membership for years, this is an easy decision." So yeah, no, she's supported it from the start.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, someone asked me how to get the spouse on board with buying all the equipment and stuff, and I was like, I don't really have a good answer for you.
Make a comparison to a gym membership. It pays off in like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and lasts a lifetime if you have some really high quality equipment.
Exactly.
I mean, let's get to some of these fun questions. So, what's the hardest workout you've ever done?
I saw this before, and I had to think a bit. But generally, for me, it's like the glycolytic pathway, like the pain zone, you call it, right? Yeah. And there's this one workout. It's called OPT, repeatability test,
yeah.
And it's gruesome. I mean, you can Google it. It's like there's a row, buy in, buy out. There's kettlebell swings and burpees, I think.
Yep.
And it just destroys you, and then you can do it again and again.
Yeah, I've actually done that test before. It is it's brutal, and so it's coming from James Fitzgerald, and I've actually seen him test like prick people's fingers and test for blood lactate levels like right after, because I think you get a small rest before you repeat, and he's trying to see how sustainable and repeatable you can be, and it's crazy how off the charts those things get, but that is a brutal one, really brutal workout.
I challenge everyone to do it, or maybe make it a Meet Yourself Saturday workout.
Yeah, maybe we'll try that out. I'll see if I can dig it up, and we'll see if we can throw it in the show notes too. All right, in your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
Get married and have kids.
No, that's a popular one.
No, I think it's really to do something long term, like to stick to a plan day by day, like to grind it out relentlessly. That's how I think, for me at least, is where the challenge is, and which makes me stronger if I stick to it.
Yeah, man, I completely agree with that. That's mental toughness over time, which is the true definition of mental toughness in my opinion. All right, if you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Yeah, it's the boring answer. It's a barbell and plates, man. Any day.
Yeah, you could just get so much done. What would be your second choice? Say we take the barbell away from you.
Probably a kettlebell, I would say.
Okay.
Like a 53-pounder. You can do, the lifts. You can do squats like goblet squats. You can do power movements like snatches. You can do Russian twists. It's very versatile.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So if you could add one piece of equipment to your garage gym, no cost factored in, what would that be?
I feel like I have everything I need, but sometimes I see people posting workouts or talking about airdynes. And I've been on one in another CrossFit gym, and I know they are torture machines. But I think probably if it were at no cost, I would buy such a thing.
Yeah, and just to put that in perspective, because I have a good story from yesterday's training session doing some intervals. So you're on the same track. So if you're tracking heart rate, you want to get into 80 to 90% of your max heart rate. And I was on the rower, and I don't know what was going on yesterday, but I was rowing as hard as I could, as hard as I felt like I could, and I couldn't get my heart rate into the 80% or higher range. And it got to the point where I'm hitting muscle fatigue, so I can't really row any faster because my muscles are burning and everything, but my heart rate's just not getting elevated. And and then the one time I did get it into my target heart rate zone, it was so it's a 3-minute interval. It was like 2 minutes had already elapsed. So I only got like 1 minute in my target heart rate zone. And then I was like, okay, putting this away for now because I don't know what's going on, because normally it's not a challenge for me to do that. And so I brought out the airdyne, and I got to, after like a 5-minute rest, recover. I got to my 80 to 90% target heart rate in 15 seconds on the airdyne. It was just like this straight line on the heart rate graph. So yeah, I think it's just the arms are moving, the legs are getting filled with blood, which obviously your heart's responsible for. Yeah, man, the airdyne is brutal. And I kind of forgot about the difference. Sometimes I say that they're very comparable, but having a little exercise like that yesterday, I think the airdyne's always going to be a little bit worse in getting your metabolic system fired up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, dude, what's the best advice you have for all the garage gym athletes out there listening to this?
The same advice I give myself is never lose focus of your big why. If you're ever discouraged or you struggle, you feel like giving up, then just remember why you started. That always helps me.
I think that's great advice. All right, Joe, you got anything?
No, cool.
Perfect. Well, man, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast, Season 3.
Thanks for having me.
See you, man.